Find out more at grittygearcompany.com. Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 4th year, November 8th through 10th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&A, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto, WWE Hall of Fame wrestler Sting, and Lou Diamond Phillips. Plus, your favorite voice actors. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $25. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including some really cool VIP perks. Don't wait to get your tickets because early bird pricing is for a limited time. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Showers and thunderstorms possible tonight. Some storms may be severe with a low of 70. Then Tuesday, a chance of rain and storms in the afternoon with a high of 81. Get ready to laugh with a Loke, a trailblazing trans comedian. Their new show, Harry Situation, is coming to the Uptown Theater on Wednesday, October 23rd. Don't miss this flippant and fabulous night of humor. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host, guest, random reptoid, or chupacabra may not necessarily reflect those of AM 950 Radio, its affiliates, or its sponsors. Now, it's time to step into the unknown. There are things people experience but never talk about. A shadow moving in the corner, flickering of the lights, a disembodied voice. We invite you to talk with us. Share your story, share your experience, because this isn't just your story. This is our story. This is GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun.
And this is GhostBox Radio on AM 950, where every night we talk about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us on this Monday evening. And for those of us in the Twin Cities, how was the storm for you all tonight? It came through. Never once was a severe storm warning, but what ended up happening, at least in my area, is that we had some trees down. We have leaves all over the place. I went out afterwards to go get a healthy dinner at McDonald's, as one does, and I was really surprised. Like my neighbor's tree, it's been one of those. I can't tell you what a tree is. I can tell you it's made of wood, but that's really all I can say. But I can't look at one and be like, oh, that's an oak. Let's just say it's an oak. And the branch was just torn off of it. And I thought, well, is that maybe even lightning or something like that? And I'm like, well, it couldn't be, because I would have heard that. It's a neighbor next door. I would have been able to hear that. So let's put it this way. I really don't know what's going on when it comes to that. And it was crazy. And I just looked at the radar. In the Twin Cities area, there is no more storms coming. The extended look, though, looks like that we might get some more storms around 2 or 3 a.m. But, by that point, we're all asleep anyway. Hopefully, I always think that it's really unfair, like when a tornado warning or something hits in the middle of the night. That's just not fair. I mean, it's bad enough during the day, but at night, no. So I'm excited. This is going to be a good week, a great week of shows. They all are, but I'm really excited because I wanted to do something where we look at UFOs and aliens all week long. And I want to look at it in a way, and folks who listen to me long enough know I don't come from it from a point of view like, do they exist? What is the mystery behind them? I believe 100%. I'm all in on this. I've always been all in on this. And you've listened to me long enough to know that I've had some experiences, but I am really excited tonight because we have with us Nancy Thames. Nancy, she does the podcast Time for Disclosure. She also does the Facebook page. It's Time for Disclosure. Go there. You're going to see a lot of incredible stuff there, a lot of conversations. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is what she is doing, what she's experienced. One of the things that I do ask for people is to please ask questions. Nancy is here to answer questions. She wants to hear your point of view. She wants to hear what you're thinking. We talked about this before the show started. One of the things too, I'm thinking in the second, unless we really are deep into a lot of questions and stuff, I want to talk about a little bit about CE5 experience that I had with a friend a couple weeks back, and I wanted to get Nancy's take on it as well. So, Nancy, welcome to GhostBox Radio.
Thank you for having me. I'm proud to be here. This is my favorite subject, as you know.
I think I think I knew that. It's pretty straight to understand. Now, one of the things that we put on talking about you tonight was interdimensional, extraterrestrial contactee. And what is that?
Well, a lot of people are under the assumption that extraterrestrials were within our solar system, somewhere that we could possibly see, or through a telescope or whatever. But I've always known, and the government is now coming out with it, they're all interdimensional, which means that's why we don't see them all the time. They're not within our solar system because that's why they come in and out, which I don't really understand why they even assumed that they knew exactly where they were from. They could be, but they're not within any visual range that we would ever be able to see with any technology or telescopes that we have, because they're not in our dimension.
Would you say that? I mean, and that was something that I've always, the same thought came to my mind was like, how on earth could anyone ever think that there is, what we would see in the 50s, this gray disc flying across the universe to come all the way to Earth? But I mean, it's a testament to how our thinking has evolved, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that's what's occurring on our planet right now. Our planet Earth, which is a living conscious being, is going through an ascension, and we are going through an ascension. We are having this evolutionary phase. It's the biggest thing that's happened since our creation. And basically, people don't realize it. We are all like little antennas, and dimensions. We're leaving this negative 3D realm and moving up into the fourth and fifth. And, people get these ideas thinking that it's, where is that? Or, how is this possible? Dimensions are not physical places or locations. It is higher levels of consciousness. And what this means is that we're staying in the same place, but our intelligence, we're like antennas reaching out into higher frequencies, which is all higher consciousness information. And that's how all of a sudden it's like, ding, now we understand they're not in our solar system. They're interdimensional. So it's just a process. And it's, I think in the past, humans always want to try to rationalize anything in the phenomena and try to make it as humanistic as possible. And that's how our brains could rationalize it. But the reality is, it is what it is, and that they are not human, and they're interdimensional, and there is no humanization of it at all, So
no.
And people are figuring this out, and our government's figured this out.
Well, and I just want to do a quick call out. Normally I wouldn't do this during a show, but I see Denise and Ernie Pack on, and the reason why I bring them up is, Nancy, you and I were talking prior to the show, talking about what you've known and what I've come to realize about all energy, and about the way that you want to reach out to an alien might be the same as spirit or Bigfoot. And my Bigfoot experiences that I was talking about beforehand, it was with Denise and Ernie, and they're in a place in Kentucky, that Fort Duffield, that seems to be more and more like a hotbed, it seems, for that. Is that something that is not unusual? If there's like a place that maybe is open, like this was an earthen fort? Would this be a place that could be more susceptible for these portals to come out, and for these entities to use?
Well, you have to understand that's kind of like what I was saying. Like we're trying to rationalize our thinking with what the reality of it is. The reality of it is they're all around us. They're all around us. There's life going on all around us. Plants and insects, all of them are living conscious being. Plants, flowers, and trees, they communicate. We just can't see it with our limited visual eyes. So in reality, it doesn't have to be a vortex or a hot spot. They're all around us living their life, and we just cannot visualize it. But there are areas that seem to be places where they're drawn to because of the energy and the frequency, because everything is about frequency, vibrational frequency. And so that's the main thing. So they'll be in areas like that because they can pick up more on what's going on around the world, and plus they need to be in areas because as they are aware that more of humanity is waking up because we are reaching higher levels of consciousness. So with our new awareness and intelligence, we're going to visually start seeing things more. So they'll tend to want to be in areas where they feel protected or a little, a little more isolated areas, not only for their protection, but also by a cosmic law, they're supposed to not necessarily interfere with us, because we have to go through our own process of understanding these things. So that's why, a lot of times they're there and then they're not there. And that's because, they obey cosmic laws just like the extraterrestrials do.
Got it. Yeah. It's just so interesting. And, one of the things that I've personally felt like I've experienced, one of the times that I have reached out and we talked through Spirit Box to reach out to aliens, I felt when I was able to connect with them that they were in the room with me. It felt like that. And I always like to use the kind of the example of the film Signs, not that they're evil or anything, but more of just like the camouflage, and the distortion and whatnot. It just felt like that's what I was seeing. And I don't know if that's something that is like, if I'm just imagining that or what, but it just was so, that night in particular was so prevalent.
Well, they've proven to me that they could be in the room right here, right now with me. They could be in the room right there with you.
Yep.
We don't visually see it, but they can move things around to draw my attention. And they've done this to prove, because I wanted affirmations. I've always asked for affirmations, like I don't understand, you please show me. And so they would take something, say, for example, they used a clock that was a battery operated. And once my attention was drawn to the clock, they moved it to 4 o'clock, stop, and then they would run it back around to 4 o'clock and do this like 3 or 4 times. And then I would go, oh my gosh, you're here. And then they would run it back to 4 o'clock. So, and they've done other little things. So yeah, they're all around us. We just don't see it, And I don't want to scare people. That's why I'm trying to be very careful about what I say on these things, because this is a worldwide phenomenon.
Yeah.
And, this is not about me, not about you, not about the people in ufology or anything. This is worldwide. And we all have to, before they would ever appear in front of the whole world, all of humanity has to be ready. And that's what we're going through. We're getting these preparations, the government putting in the ripples or little drips of information. This is all acclamations to get us up to the eventual reveal.
You were talking about frequencies. which is something that I've been trying to figure out myself. Is there a certain frequency that you are thinking of, or that you use, or you've heard other people use to try to, I mean, I know that you're establishing communications different than, say, what I've been doing, but have you heard of, like, you have any suggestions on frequencies, like what type of frequency to use?
Well, no, you have to understand, in their reality, they do not use nothing to do with time. Time is irrelevant, and frequency is a number. So when you place a frequency and identify it as a number, you're eliminating the other possibilities. So in their reality, everything is one, everything's connected. So what you do is you meditate and you just reach out, and they will hear the frequency and they will respond to it if they feel you are ready. Because a lot of people will say, oh, I'm ready. Oh, I'm ready. But then, you know, they're somewhere in the corner of their mind, they're not. So if you're not, they will know. You know, they're telepathic and they can read your emotions, your feelings. They will feel everything you feel. So, and a lot of times they approach people in your dream state, and that's a good way to kind of figure out, you know, what your belief system, core belief system is, your spiritual growth, you know, whatever your programming is, and, you know, what level of fear, because most people, and for me, it has never been about what they look like. It is the frequency exchange between a human being and an interdimensional. They are at a much higher frequency. And when you're face to face with them, the frequency exchange is overwhelming. It is overwhelming. And it's like your brain just really doesn't know what to do with this. It's a combination of extreme fear and extreme euphoria. And it's just like your brain just does not know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's really, and you know, that is obviously, like, for those wondering, you know, that is the cornerstone for when they tell you to do a CE5. It is the meditation that is in the intention in that meditation. That is what is done, and that's what we tried to do when we did it a couple weeks ago, was to put that intention out there. And I think just from personal experience, I think it's absolutely spot on when you mention that they pick up on fear. And I'm not afraid to say that at least I had fear doing it, because suddenly you are face to face with something that you don't expect at all.
Exactly.
And that's something really interesting. Now, before we head off to break here, Ernie says, does that remind you of the zap you got when you were with Squatchman? And that was kind of what I was telling you about, Nancy, that touch behind my head. But what's also interesting, that Ernie got an absolute zap that brought him to his knees. Like, I mean, it just bowled him over from that. And we don't believe that was because of any malevolent sort of reason. We think, if anything, it was more than likely what we believe would be a Sasquatch forest person wanting to, you know, maybe just do what they did to me, just reach out, and maybe it was a little bit too hard or something. And it just took him down. It was incredible. And he was down for, you know, about 30 seconds of just leave me alone, let me catch my breath sort of thing. I mean, you know, and that's just it too. It's like sometimes you're going to get some sort of physical attribution, I think, once in a while. Have you ever had anything physical from your communications that just for whatever reason?
Oh, I have physical face-to-face contact with interdimensionals and extraterrestrials.
But leave anything physical on you?
Well, I mean, I touch their hands, I feel their skin, their temperature, and all that kind of stuff. But there was a period of time when I was very young, because this started for me really at birth, but consciously I remember 2 to 3 years old. And at that stage, it was I know we're getting ready to have to stop. So
take your time.
So, at that point, nothing in the world had influenced me to have any fears. So there was no fear involved. It was what it was. It was just beautiful. But as I got older, junior high to high school, I started hearing what other people were saying. And in the community, it was considered to talk about this kind of stuff. It was either demonic or a mental health issue. So my parents told me, you cannot ever talk about these things. So when I learned all these things, that changed my mind. And so that developed a fear factor for me. And when that happened, they can sense this, and it highlighted like that frequency exchange. It made it intensify more as more fear. So that's why they'll touch you on the head, or they'll use their higher consciousness and blank you out. And that's why people have all this missing time.
Sure.
Or in my case, they gave me fragmented memories, because they were giving me the fragmented memories to give me enough time to understand that the fear was manifested in my own mind. It was not anything they were doing. It was the frequency exchange, and then all this stuff that had been programmed into me. And so I had to learn to face my fears and overcome that to get back to having fully conscious contact with them.
That's incredible.
It's still, they let me know before they manifest in a room that they're coming, 5 to 10 minutes. And that gives me time to start feeling the frequency exchange. And then when I start feeling the fear, then I have to mentally talk to my brain and say, whoa, no, you can do this. This is not fear.
Get yourself ready for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, this is incredible. Folks, I see that there's some questions in the comments. Keep them coming. Nancy wants questions. I love questions.
Yeah.
Take advantage. This is fantastic. I'm really enjoying this, and I really enjoy your input and what you know about the situation. So why don't we go ahead? Let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll hit the questions in the comments section. I got a lot to talk about. I'd still like to talk about my CE5. Let's just go at it. Let's have some fun. You're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Twin Cities Con returns to the Minneapolis Convention Center for their 4th year, November 8th through 10th. Twin Cities Con is a celebration of comics, toys, TV, film, art, cosplay, games, and all things nerdy. It's also a family-friendly event where you can meet your favorite celebrities, browse the vendor hall and artist alley for the coolest merch, watch celebrity Q&A, and even more. Twin Cities Con is bigger and better than ever before, with guests like Anakin Skywalker himself, Hayden Christensen, Stephanie Beatrice from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto, WWE Hall of Fame wrestler Sting, and Lou Diamond Phillips. Plus, your favorite voice actors. 3 days of action-packed fun in the heart of Minneapolis at the Minneapolis Convention Center. Tickets start at $25. Kids tickets are just $8 for the entire weekend. VIP tickets also available, including some really cool VIP perks. Don't wait to get your tickets because early bird pricing is for a limited time. Buy your tickets and get more information at TwinCitiesCon.com. Greg Bakun here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville. Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. Recently, I had a large order of custom-designed t-shirts that needed to be turned around in a hurry. I knew exactly who to call. Grady Gear Company. Grady Gear Company is a local company that handles large and small custom clothing and apparel orders. I had a lot of questions from color, shirt quality, and what sizes we needed. Gritty Gear Company was great to work with. They got us what we needed on time, and now everybody's looking great around the station in their new gear. Start your order at grittygearco.com.
Greg Bakun here. Like many of you, I still collect physical books, and not just any books, but books about the paranormal, ufology, Bigfoot, and so much more. I go to Megas Books and Herbs, located in the Arts District of Minneapolis, but books are only part of it. Megas Books and Herbs offers crystals, jewelry, herbs, oils, and consultations on how to use this stuff. Check out their in-store classes and events too. This place has everything to expand your horizons. Located at 1848 Central Avenue, Minneapolis, or visit megasbooks.com. And welcome back to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. My name is Greg Bakun. Thank you very much for joining us on this Monday. We are talking contact with aliens. We are talking about how does it work? How does it work for Nancy, our guest tonight, Nancy Thames. She is the host of the podcast Time for Disclosures. How long has your podcast been going for now?
I don't have a podcast.
I thought you did have a podcast.
No, I just do podcast.
So you work as a podcaster?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I have the website and then I have Facebook groups. Someday I might do something like that, but not right now.
Why don't you do that? You should do that.
Well, it's a possibility for sure. Possibility.
So we're talking about alien disclosure. We're talking about alien communication stuff. We got some questions in the comments and some comments in the comments, if you could imagine that. Let's see here. Damien says, do they ever take objects, and if so, return them?
They have moved things around, and I've had to, in other words, I've found things like in my driveway that I've looked all over for in the house. Yeah. You know, and it's like laying right where the reason I know it wasn't there is because it was like where I had to see it to get in my car. So when I got out of my car and turned, and I'd been outside, but to take things to the garbage and stuff, and it wasn't there. So things like that, they do like just little things like that, but they don't take anything. They just might move things around.
Why do they do that?
Because for me, I wanted affirmations. I wanted to know that, because they're telling me that there's life going on all around me, but I can't see it. So they proved it to me.
It's interesting. It's great that they do that, because I can imagine sometimes it could be also like, if you don't believe, tough, but I'm glad that they're doing that. Brandy says, my first experience with aliens was 13. They would visit me late at night. What I found very interesting with what you were talking about in the last segment, Nancy, was that, and I find this with people with like also psychic gifts and stuff, when they have it from a young age. And at that young age, you are pretty pure, aren't you? That you take in everything, you don't question it, you probably have it with love. And then it's us silly adults that kind of move that away. It seems like that's what happened to you for a while with the communication.
Exactly. And that's why they gave me the fragmented memories. On some people, they'll just totally black them out, but they did not give up on me. They gave me time to figure it out. And it took, it didn't happen overnight. I struggled through it, but I realized, that would make the difference, Yeah. And plus, they gave me a Kundalini awakening a little over 2 years ago. And before that, like different pivotal times, like in my 20s, big event. And then in my 30s, big event, 40s, big event. So they always gave me big events that was giving me spiritual growth and time for my brain to catch up with what they were telling me. Because a lot of times when I was 20 and 30, I heard everything they said, but it's just like what we were talking about earlier. It was right in my face, but it's like I didn't have that, oh yeah, I get it type aha moment. It took me a while. because it's a lot for our brains to comprehend.
Absolutely. It's very much like an analogy of the bigger picture, isn't it? That
Exactly.
they're giving you what you need when they know that you're ready for it. And, I was talking with Kathleen Martin, who, you know who she is.
I've met her. Yeah.
So, and, I kind of asked her, is like, when you start getting regular like visits from aliens and stuff, is it like you become like a case study to them? Not even a case study, but you once you're in, you're always in. They're always going to be paying attention to you to some degree, right? That they're always keeping an eye on you.
Absolutely. In my case, and a lot of people's case that do not know this, but when we come to Earth, we make the choice to come here to Earth on a soul level. Our soul decides.
Like our contract?
Yes, and we make soul contracts. So for a lot of people, you made a contract to be part of this evolutionary process, because we all knew before we came here that this was going to be the biggest event. It is the biggest event since our creation, and it's the biggest event going on in the universe. And we are like, we're on spotlight. They're all watching us, witnessing this big event for humanity. So so a lot of us made agreements to be a part of this, and we have either, we're connected to them, and we, so a lot of people that have had their they call it abductions. They were really not abductions. To them, it was, and it was very real, and that's the way they rationalized it and stuff. But they had made these agreements prior to coming here as being a human being. For me, I am direct lineage to the interdimensional realm. I am a interplanetary soul, and I was an interdimensional that made a choice to come to Earth and be here, part of this evolutionary process, to help people to understand, to bridge us humans and extraterrestrials together, and to help people to wake up and learn about their soul selves, and understand that there's a soul inside us that chose to come to Earth, that chose to be a part of this. And that's what this ascension and this whole evolution thing is, looking within, understanding who we are, our true origins, the complete true history of our planet that we've been denied or lied to about. And all truths are that's part of this ascension, and part of the process is that all truths are going to become known. And it's not because it's not going to come from the government. It's not going to come from anything. It's because of our reaching higher levels of consciousness. Like I told you, it is not a place. It is higher levels of intelligence, and our frequencies are tapping into this information. And we're going to all know all these things that we've always wondered about, such as, was Roswell real? Was, where did humans come from? Where did my soul come from? When I die, where am I going? We're going to be tapping into that frequency of knowing, and it will not matter what the government has or has not said, because we're going to know it on our own. That's part of our evolution.
Do you see it? Do you see us all just like clicking into place at some point? In a
everybody, sense? Human beings, we're all here on a different spiritual path. Yeah. So some people will pick up immediately. Some people will be a little slower, and it has to happen very, very slow, because everybody on this planet, all of humans are invited to participate, or invited to be a part of ascension. There's some people that just may refuse teetotally, and that's fine. They just won't ascend. They won't reach that little level of knowing. And you'll find that for whatever reason, because we will be moving into a higher frequency and a more positive frequency, people with horrible negative lives and ways, doesn't mean you don't love them, but you'll steer clear of them, because it brings down your vibrational frequency, and you'll find that you'll disassociate yourself from that type of behaviors and people that don't want to change.
I want to ask a question here, because sure. The way that you're talking, it seems like there is correlation, maybe not strong correlation, but I can't help but notice the similarities of when we're talking about certain religions, talking about, ascension, like we're all going to ascend. It's almost like we are kind of like the rapture, sort of, not as tough as that, but the idea of like certain people are going to get it, other people are not going to get it. That there's that to me there's like a correlation there, and it makes me wonder.
Well, in the reality, for me, when you say rapture, that's a negative word. It's
no. I think
highway or the highway.
Hold on. I think you're misunderstanding. What I'm just saying though is that there is a correlation of like we're all going to ascend to something, and that's what you just said. You are saying that, and what you just said also. Some may agree, some may get it, some may not get it, and that's even though I'm saying the rapture isn't, and you're saying it's negative. I can't help but think that there is that there's something there that is similar. Yeah, we're using different words, but I guess where I'm getting at though is, are we getting some of these scriptures and stuff? Is religion based off of alien communication at the end of the day?
I think that Jesus was extraterrestrial, and I think that he was trying to teach us many, many things. It got misinterpreted along the way. So I think in a lot of cases, those teachings started off in a beautiful, honest way.
Yeah.
But and that's why I don't like to use the words like rapture, because some people take it to the extreme. Like some people are just going to die, or, they think about these horrific things. And extraterrestrials and interdimensionals believe in a creator source.
Yeah. They
believe in creator source. They all have souls, and we are all one. We are all connected. We are, and when we learn and come together in unity, we're unstoppable. So, so that's why they do not like to put names, locations on things, because that is division, that is separation, and they are all one. We are all one. That's the way they, so that's why I try to be real careful, because I don't want someone to say that I said that word, or because it can be misconstrued in so many different ways. So I like to be precise in saying we have the option of becoming the better versions of ourselves, or if there's nothing ugly going to happen to you. In their creator source, there is no evil and there is no fear. There is no such thing. Those things are not in their reality.
Well, I mean, I think it's fair to say that anytime, like regardless of where some of that started from, like you said, come from Jesus or people who are truly enlightened, and the idea is like, yes, of course, you get people who ruin and change it. And in my opinion, religion is a great example. Organized religion is a great example of taking teachings and creating agendas out of it. So, but my point really was more of just like the similarities are there. Right. Yes, but to your point, I'm certainly not thinking that people are going to die if they don't believe in aliens. That's not what I'm trying to get at here.
Right.
So why don't we do this? I got a lot of comments here that I'd like to get through and run past you, because I know that people are really excited about you, and I want to make sure that we get to everything as much as we can. And folks, if you show Nancy some love here, maybe she'll come back and join us, because there's a lot that we're not going to get to tonight for sure. Let's go ahead, take our next break. When we come back, get to your comments. Get to anything else on our mind. We are having this really fascinating, wonderful conversation about alien communication. And with our guest, Nancy Thames, you're listening to GhostBox Radio on AM 950. Greg Bakun here. I love historic tours of Minneapolis and seeing everything it has to offer. But if you know me, I like to include a little spooky in my tours, which is why I found the perfect combination. Minneapolis Trolley Tours does this amazing candlelight ghost tour that you have to check out. It's an extremely immersive experience. It's a trolley trip that starts out at a haunted mansion, traveling around Minneapolis locations, exposing ghost stories that the public and business owners would rather left untold. Then a tour of the aforementioned haunted mansion where ghosts of past residents from the 1800s reside, plus a lot of surprises to discover. Next, experience Gertrude's After Hours. Did I mention Gertrude is the mansion's most famous ghost? Maybe she'll show up. And you finish up the tour at Gertrude's Lounge in the haunted basement of the mansion with refreshments and Q&A. The trolleys are climate controlled and the mansion is restored to perfection. Check out MinneapolisTrolleyTours.com for more information. Greg Bakun here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com. Gritty Gear Company is a great place to go for clothing that is fun and expressive, but did you know we also do custom orders on demand? We've worked with all types of companies and organizations, from first responders to even a certain radio station. Our team is here to help you look amazing. Our clothing is of the highest quality, and you will love your logo on the finished product. We are a locally owned small business who simply wants you to look great. Find out more at grittygearcompany.com.
We know you value buying local, especially when it comes to your magical supplies. So if you're looking for grimoires, decks, jewelry, candles, or herbs that are locally sourced, then come on down to Magus Books and Herbs. Curated for your ritual, ceremonial, spiritual, and spellwork needs, we've got all the tools to make your working extra. So make that prosperity ritual one that keeps on giving by visiting us at 1848 Central Avenue Northeast in Minneapolis, or visit us online at magusbooks.com.
Have you ever met someone who not only can help you on a deep spiritual level, but also potentially change your life? Refined Divine is an extremely gifted psychic medium who travels the nation and lives right here in the Midwest. And she offers mediumship, mentorship, house and business parties, energy healing, palm readings, and so much more. Refined Divine has helped thousands, and she can help you.
Hi, this is Psychic Medium Deb. I cannot wait to hear from you. You can go to refineddivinepsychic.com.
And join me tomorrow on GhostBox Radio with Greg Bakun. It's going to be what we call a Just Greg episode. And with that tomorrow, we're going to be discussing communication that we think is from spirit, but maybe is actually from alien. And we might get some of that stuff. Do we get that confused on paranormal investigations? Not all of us can read energy as well as others. So, let's talk about it. I'd love your opinions on it tomorrow. And I want to share some stuff that has happened to me as well. I am having a great conversation tonight with Nancy Thames. And Nancy, for Time for Disclosure, where do you want us to point people to join up and take part in the conversation?
Well, you mean like now, what we want to talk about now? Are you talking about where?
For Time for Disclosure. Where would you like people to go for that?
Well, the website is timefordisclosure.com, and then the Facebook group is Time for Disclosure / We've Never Been Alone. Then we are the disclosure. So that's all those statements are for the Facebook group. So any of those places, and it's just a good place for people to get together, and it's a safe place. To get share experiences, learn things, find out about meetup groups, find out about podcasts, find out about places where, that you can be around other people with like minds, where, it's a safe environment that you can talk and really express, and learn things. So yeah, that's exactly how.
That's great. Okay. And I'll put that tomorrow, folks. If you follow our pages, I always put out a kind of a follow-up and a link to the episode, and I'll put where you can join in the discussion with Nancy and everyone else. And I'm a member of the Facebook group, and it's really it's a great conversation, and like Nancy says, it's a safe place. So definitely go check that out. Going over to the comments, I got some questions here. Brandy ask the question. I think it's just a great starter up question here, quite honestly. Should humans attempt to contact aliens knowing that there may be a potential risk?
There's not any risk at all. They're benevolent. There's so much misinformation out there, and fear is the number one thing that prevents us from reaching ascension. And the programming that the world, there's a lot of fractions like dark, elite human beings that control our world. There's like 100 families somewhere in that number that control our world, and they own our banking, our religious systems. They pick and choose who goes into our governments, and they own our oil companies, our pharmaceutical companies, and they influence our lifestyles. They control it, and they also, I hate to say it, but they manage the population control. They do all these things intentionally because for money, but the main thing is they like the control. They keep us at a dumbed down level, at a lower conscious. We're easier to control and manipulate. And that's exactly what's happened to us. And this is what's fixing to change through this new ascension and this evolutionary phase we're going through. We have the potential, the opportunity to be a better version of ourselves and eliminate those things in life. So what I say, number one, I say that people meditate and ask for, be frank, say you want positive, pure, benevolent relations, and tell them to help you with the way that they introduce themselves, and they will. I mean, they'll already know. So again, it may be at first to approach you in your dream state or simply seeing a craft, but and then eventually as we get higher levels of consciousness, you may start getting some downloads. And the thing is, it's not going to sound like a voice in your head,
Yeah.
It's not like that. It is like all of a sudden you just have like information, and it's there. It's yours. It's a gift. It's yours. And it's not going to sound weird or anything. And for me, when it first started happening to me, I would say, where did I get this information? Because there's no way to distinguish where it's coming. That's just, that's part of it. It's a gift to you.
That's great. And it's like what a lot of mediums say. They call those downloads, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That is really that's great information. Let's see here. And Brandy says thank you for that, by the way.
Sweet.
Linda asked the question, and I don't know if and I'm just going to ask it as she has it. Do CE5 methods help folks to raise their frequency?
Frequency is an individual. It's individual. It's like identifying with who you are within, recognizing that you are truly not the programmed version of yourself from being in this 3D realm. It is figuring out that there's more to you than what this world has taught you. It's figuring out who you truly are and being more positive, trying to be the better version of yourself, and trying to, we automatically are going to have negative thoughts. We've been in this negative 3D realm where all these wars and negative things can occur, but we're leaving that. So the way to raise your frequency is, if you have a negative thought, replace it with 2 positive thoughts. And instead of saying, oh, it's a crap day, look at the beautiful point of the day. Just say, we got beautiful raindrops today. Or, that's kind of a silly thing, but I'm just saying, look for the beautiful aspects and do not focus on negative, because that's what's been programmed in us, and that's going to happen. But you can retrain yourself to think more positive.
I think too, again, I was reading through some questions here, and I think you really bring up a good point with that. When, even earlier, I mentioned Signs, the film Signs. And, maybe I just mentioned the fact that they're camouflaged a certain way, that their intention is not the same. But where do a lot of us go when we think of Signs? We think of alien race that's coming to dominate and who knows what else, and hurt and stuff. And we have been programmed. We've been seasoned. We've been programmed, absolutely, our whole lives. That, the name. And Damien, maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying here, but I feel like this kind of fits in here a little bit. He says, is it gold you still want from us to mine for them like Stargate? I'm not quite sure what that means, but my question
He's talking about the Anunnaki,
okay.
and that most of that is not true. That is just a human version of things.
Sure.
But sure, they may have needed that. But now I can attest for this. For you and I, we're sitting here talking through technology. Technology is a separate entity. In the extraterrestrial, interdimensional realm, in their reality, it is not a separate entity. It is part of their higher levels of consciousness. They are billions of years ahead of us in evolution. They can manifest anything they want or need. They don't need anything from us or our planet. They see us as children, juvenile children, and they've been waiting on us. They've watched us from our very creation and waiting for us to get to this intellectual stage. And also the fact that we are so intelligent and our technology is so strong that if we stay in this negative 3D realm, it will be misused and we could possibly potentially destroy ourselves or part of our planet. And they love our planet. Our planet is a living conscious being. Every living creature on it is a living conscious being. And they love everything on it. Human beings, we're just a small part of everything that's beautiful about this planet. So there's no way. And they're billions of years ahead of us. If they wanted something or they wanted to hurt us or whatever, it would have already occurred. Because,
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it's just, now with this new realization with higher levels of intelligence, we should be able to figure these things out pretty easily. That, our technology that we have, our physics does not apply. None of our, our thinking does not apply. We're just like little children. We're new, and we're a new generation of beings, a species. And, they're watching over and protecting us.
Absolutely.
They have for years, thousands. Since the beginning of our time, they've watched over us.
And we have about 4 minutes left. Bruce asked the question: are these aliens? Where are these aliens from? Are they from another planet or a completely different plane of existence?
They're interdimensional, so they're they could be from a planet, but not a planet that we can visually see.
Right.
Or
right.
if we see the planet, we just don't see that there's life on that planet because we're locked in the 3D realm right here.
Sure.
But that's fixing to change.
No, that's a really good point. And Bruce, that's a great question. Damien asked the question, how do you comfort people that have had bad experiences with being taken against their will?
Well, I talked to them and explained to them about their soul makes soul contracts. We all chose to be here, to come to Earth, and we all chose here to be a part of this. That's why I say we are the disclosure. Mm-hmm. Nothing else matters. Extraterrestrials have been around since the beginning of time, and they've left us clues. We are just now intelligent enough to put all these pieces together. Human beings, we are the disclosure, realizing how unique in our potential, and we are multidimensional beings, and our souls are immortal. Our human body will die, and it will end here. And this is a very short experience compared to the many experiences that we have had or going to have, because there is no end to it. We're immortal as far as on the soul level.
Absolutely. Now we have about 2 minutes left. I want to ask you, in your time of being visited and communicating with them, has it always been different, or have you seen some of the same ones throughout your life?
Oh, I see the same ones. I'm bonded with a female, and
Okay.
she is a hybrid gray. They always send 3 grays, and they are basically transporters. But she's been with me in like previous lives. Wherever I go, she's
Sure.
bonded to me, and I love her. She loves me, and she's reddish brown. She's not gray, and she is biological. She's not a robot, but she is a hybrid that was designed by the tall grays and the interdimensionals to come down and be able to adapt to the density of Earth, because the density of Earth And because they are such a high frequency, it is very hard for a higher frequency being to come down into this denseness and lower frequency of Earth. So they created a hybrid and genetically designed it to be able to do that.
And just, this is so wonderful, and this is such a, and it's such a beautiful conversation, quite frankly. And I really love this. Brandy does ask the question, and I'm sorry if I missed this as well. Have you written any books?
I have not. I will, but my journey is, I'm a lifelong contactee. I'm 64 years old, and this is what I came to Earth to do. This is my mission. This is a soul mission, and my two sons are a part of this with me. They were also interdimensional beings. That their souls. We all came here. I don't know if they were the same, if we were, what our relationship was there, but we're all here. So my mission is far from being over. So I haven't written a book because this is just the beginning, really. I mean, all that, everything in my past was a preparation to make me who I am today, to be able to help humans understand what we're going through, what it all means, and to help people to understand the misinformation and understand what the abduction things meant, all these things. So I will write a book, but just not right now.
Just not right now. Well, yeah. I hope if anything, you come back on the show. I'm getting people saying that they really want you back. Folks, go over to Time for Disclosure, the website, as well as Facebook. I'll get that all out there for people so that you can join. Nancy Thames, thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Looking forward to have you back. Tomorrow, it's just going to be me talking, and we'll be talking about paranormal, aliens versus spirit. Have a great night.